What's up, team? Welcome to my new series of playing free-to-play Magic the Gathering Arena. The whole point of this series is pretty much just go through, play Magic the Gathering Arena, or MTG Arena. Not really sure why I feel the need to specify that it's Magic the Gathering. I feel like everyone that's watching this knows that it's Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering. Okay, so we're going to play MTG Arena. The point of this is to have an account that is completely free to play, see what that experience is like, and try to, I don't know, maximize it. We'll see what goals we come up with in the future. We're going to go through and probably play, standard until we have enough gold, and then we'll play some limited. I don't really have too much of a plan right now, other than just to see how far we can actually go while playing completely free-to-play. So we're starting out here on the very first tutorial game that it makes you go through. I have the footage sped up here just to go through these first few games. It's very limited in what we can do here, so I don't feel like it's a very good way of showing everything. Pretty much, we're going to draw all the same cards. We're going to have to play a certain way, more or less. We're going to get a bunch of tutorial things here, so it's not the best explanation of what's going on in the game, but I feel like it's good just to show going through everything, showing that everything is free to play. I'm going to do my best to keep everything on camera if possible. There's a few things I might take off camera, like doing dailies if I'm just making a deck just to do the dailies. That can sometimes take some time. I feel as though it's not necessarily the best content to watch out on a YouTube video, but we'll see how it goes. Leave a comment if you have a preference. Also, if you have any way for me to really prove that this is entirely free to play, I would really appreciate that information as well. Something I'm struggling with right now is figuring out how to just be like, yep, this is free to play, without it's just me saying it. But also, I'm not going to just start buying cards. Would be kind of lame. Defeat the entire purpose of this. Yeah, so we're just going through these games real quick. I believe there's about 4, maybe 5 really quick tutorial games. Right now we're fighting a red deck. Try not to get hit in the face too much. I believe for all the tutorial games here, we're forced to play white. We don't really have a choice. Which is fine. White's a good color too. I admit some of the interactions from the characters here are a little funny. Even the card there reacting to the fact that it's going to die. Big fan of that. Look at this. Another planes. Swing in. I like to turn cards sideways. Do some damage. I will say, I think overall, this beginning tutorial is pretty okay. I'm not a huge fan at how limited your card selection is at the beginning. It doesn't really do a good way of showing to new players that you're going to start with 7 or more cards, or 7 or less, I guess, technically, if you mulligan. But I guess it's good to just not overwhelm the players for their first time. So we are just about done here with this game. We're moving on to game number 3 here in a moment. Get some new cards, some angels. I do love me some angel cards. Here we go up against a blue deck. Next. I have a tendency to just sit here and click because I'm forced to wait for things to happen. It is nice that as we go through these games, they get a little bit longer, showing a little bit more interactions. You start to get more decisions that you have to make. Most of them tend to be turn your card sideways and hit them in the face, which is my favorite part of Magic, so I'm okay with that. At some point, I also realized that if you click on their dialogue box, it makes it just finish, so this will speed up as we get to that point. We're almost done here with this game, and then I believe we have 2 more games before we can get into the actual main side of the game. So we're going to go ahead, finish up this tutorial here, and then we jump in and start doing a color challenge. I believe we start with red. Once we get to a actual game versus a player, I'm going to put the video playback speed at normal, and we'll commentate over that game as we get there. But for now, I'm just going to go over some things with this series. Like I mentioned, the plan is to do entirely free-to-play. I'm going to try to find a way to show that it's entirely free-to-play if I can. If not, it's going to have to be a trust me bro situation, but that's fine. We have Outlaws of Thunder Junction coming up soon, so I'm hoping that I can get to a gold amount that would allow me to do a limited run for that, either sealed or draft. I'm personally partial to sealed. I just really enjoy opening the packs and not having to think about what other people are doing and just being able to make my deck. But we want to learn how to actually play draft and get better at that, so maybe we'll do some drafts with that. The hardest part here is going to be the fact that I won't be able to do that without hitting 10,000+ gold, so we're going to have to run dailies in order to do that. And then once we get to that point, we'll have an entire video that is just going through the draft and the games for it. A little bit about me and my Magic experience I think would be good here. So I started playing Magic, I don't know, back in 2000, probably like 2000. However, it was, I would buy a box once every like 6 years, open it with my friends, and then we would play 2 games and I would never play again. Not because I didn't like Magic, but just because I didn't really have the means to be able to get into it. I didn't really understand what was going on. Played a couple times in college as well. Was about to get right back into it and really start trying to learn and take it more seriously, at least past a opening packs kind of seriousness. I believe I bought the Magic 20 set. Yeah. And then, we got hit with a global pandemic that I'm sure everyone is familiar with. And that kind of shut things down for me playing Magic for a couple years. I recently started buying sets again and doing sealed events with my friends. So that's really what started getting me back into it. Started playing Magic Arena and jumping into that. As I mentioned before, we have some standard videos on the channel already. There's going to be more of that to come as well, going based off of my streams. But we started doing that, and then I had this idea of, hey, why not try and play the game entirely free-to-play, see what Arena offers for free-to-play, and see really what we can do with it. I know the game is mostly, buy your cards, play the game. So it's going to be interesting to see how far we can go, what decks we can make. And really the different kinds of choices that we have to make because we're restricted to not being able to buy anything. Here we go, fighting Nicobolas here. No cards in hand. They have a bunch of cards in hand. we have a bunch of card draw. I'm going to go ahead and block some things up. Yeah, so the plan for this year is to really start getting back into Magic, learning it a lot more, probably playing some events in person. I do have an LGS, not positive that they do events, but there's a few around me that I'm sure definitely do. So looking at, starting to play some in-person Magic. I'd like to do some Commander on the channel at some point, if possible. Just need to find a good way of doing that. I know there's Spell Table that we can probably do with friends. We can show that stuff off once I build a deck, and go from there. But what I'm really looking forward to is going to... my plan right now is to go to MagicCon Vegas towards the end of the year, and see what that's all about. All right, so we are done with the first set of tutorials. I'm just going to go through here and claim all of the mail that the game starts you off with, so we at least get to start with some packs. A lot of this is going to be outside of the standard meta, or standard playable, which is fine. It at least gives us something so we can build a deck and maybe play, I don't know, Explorer or Timeless, or something like that. Right here I realize that Untapped won't go away. I just restart the game real quick, and then go back to claiming some packs. I'll go through and open all of these packs at some point as well. It's not on this video, and I don't believe it's on the next video, but possibly after that, as soon as we make it through some of the tutorial stuff and have all these things to claim, we'll go through open packs, look at stuff. I was thinking about making those shorts. I don't know if that's a good idea who wants to watch pack openings in Arena, but maybe people do. Alright, so we are jumping in here to the color challenge. Starting off with mono red, mostly because I tend to play mono red, because red deck wins. This deck is all about hitting your opponent in the face, or playing cards that hit your opponent for you, so you don't have to do anything. As you'll see, we have Bombardment, which will let us... anytime we attack with a creature whose power is less than 2, I believe, or 2 or less, it's just going to do 1 damage to the face. So right now, we're just going to try and start getting out a board that will allow us to do such things. It's funny, I really like mono red. I tend to be an aggro player generally. I'm going to start trying to branch out and play more things. But this mono red deck is very different from what I'm used to playing. Look at all that damage right to the face. They're down to 4. We just get to attack next turn and we win. All attacks, all the damage. We win the game. I think the color challenge is a great way to show new players what each deck kind of is known for, or what each color is kind of known for. Obviously, decks do a lot, or colors do a lot of different things, and can specialize in different kinds of archetypes, but for the most part, monocolor tend to have a strategy in mind, and I think Color Challenge does a great way to show that to new players, so when they start getting into the game, they have an idea of what is going to happen when they start playing those decks. As much as playing against the AI isn't fantastic, I think it's a good way to start for new players. I actually didn't check whether or not you can just jump right in after you unlock those decks, or if it forces you to do the color challenge. I believe before you had to do all of the color challenges before you could play people. I don't know if that's still the case now. Something I'll actually check. It won't be in the next video, but it'll be in the video after that. Here we are up against mono green. We're just gonna keep playing some cards, try to have a good mana curve. Right now we're doing some thinking, which, you know, is kind of nice that that happens in tutorial, having to actually think about what we're going to do. Swing in for 4 flying in the air with haste. They get a cat out. We're not afraid of no cats. We're just going to hit him in the face for 6. Just burn him. We have one more AI game here, and then we hop into a actual PvP game. We're gonna have to take out an opponent. One thing to note, if you haven't started playing Arena, or you're just going through things and haven't done color challenges because you don't want to play real people yet or something like that, if you go into the game, the very last part of the color challenge is to play a real player, an actual player. It doesn't matter if you win or not. Unlike the other parts of the color challenge where you actually have to win to progress, that one you don't have to win. So you can just go into it and concede right away if you want to. We're not going to do that on this. We're going to play out the game. The difficulty seems to be whether or not you get paired with a actual new player. The last time I did these, I wasn't paired with new players. I was playing multicolor decks. It was an all-around miserable experience with the starter decks they start you out with, so I just started conceding all of them, which was much faster and much more efficient, and ended up working out pretty well for what we were trying to do here. Alright, this game is a little slower for us, but I believe we have the win next turn. We didn't need to block there, but we were going to win anyway. It didn't really matter. There we go. All right, so that is the color challenge. We are now in the portion of having to play a real player here. As soon as I saw that they had the same profile picture, I was like, oh, this is probably an actually new player, so maybe we actually have a chance of doing this. Here we get to see for the first time the cards that you start out with, knowing your opponent goes first or second. We have 3 lands, some creatures. We have a curve rocking here, so we're just going to play it. Nice simple early game here. They have a Death Toucher, so we don't really want to swing in here, which kind of makes our aggro deck a little bit worse. But we swing in anyway, just to see if we can push 1 damage through. He could have blocked that, but he didn't want to trade his 1-1 for a 1-1. Understandable. I would have liked to see that get off of the field, so I was kind of hoping he would take that trade, but they did not. Right there, I wanted to do that trade. I just wanted to get something off the board that was going to give +1/+1 counters. Need to try to keep everything kind of low. Our deck does not have great trading potential here. So we wanted to make sure that we were able to get something off the board before things start to get too big. We do have a shock in our deck to do 2 damage, so as long as that doesn't get pumped up more, we should be okay. We can just take it off the field as long as we can draw that damage. Unfortunately, they do pump it up, and then we drew the shock immediately after, so we can't kill it. But we do now have the ability to, if we would like, to kill their Death Toucher, which will allow us to start swinging in. They're just reading our card here, realizing that they're going to get pinged in the face. I'm doing this before combat because I want the damage. I could have done it before declare blockers as well. I figured there wasn't too much counter they could do to my spell in black, but maybe that's not true. We're gonna ping him here for a couple damage, hit him in the face a couple times, pass back to them. Alright, now they got a skeleton on the field that they can return, I think, from the graveyard. We're just gonna take 3. Can't block it, it's in the air. Nothing we can do about it. We're gonna keep pumping that up. We're gonna get some more low-powered creatures out on the battlefield. We're gonna make our goblin unblockable here. That way the skeleton can't block it. We're gonna get in for an extra damage. We still have blockers back in case we need them. They are drawing a lot of land, which is good for us. They don't seem to have that many things they can play. They do have something in hand that would allow them to do something at some point, based on the fact that the game keeps asking them if they want to do stuff instead of just auto passing through my triggered abilities and everything. Gonna go ahead and shock the skeleton real quick. I count up the damage here. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we have 14 damage coming at them with raid bombardment and everything swinging in. So they have to do something here, or they're going to die. There we go. So they decide to murder my 2/2. Just going to leave them at just enough health to stay alive. Live with 2. They need to do 10 damage to me. At this point, I'm feeling pretty comfortable. I don't think they have a +5 pump spell. We just need to swing with any 2 creatures, and they will lose here, so That doesn't have haste. Not worried about it. I believe we take 5 more here. We do. That is a-okay with me. They get to pump. We're just going to move right to combat. Attack with everything. Brave Bombardment goes off. And we win the game. Nice, simple, easy. That's going to be it for the first episode here. The next episode is going to be going through the Sparky's Challenge to get the stained glass land card sleeves, because I love those and I need them. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it. If you liked the video, go ahead and hit like. You can subscribe. And I will see you all in the next one.